Hey everyone, it's Russ and Derek back again with another video on important questions that we're answering over here at Mash Strategy. So Mr. Derek, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Or maybe it encompasses several answers.
Okay.
What are the top 5 questions one should ask before hiring a marketing agency?
Yes. Okay. Well, this is important because hiring an agency is a big decision.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the first question you should ask is, should I even be hiring a marketing agency?
Sounds like a very important question.
Yes. So what I found is some people, they're starting a new business and they don't have a lot of capital. They may be funding it themselves. And they're like, you know what? I need to hire the best agency because we're going to really ramp up this company. We're going to do a great job.
Right.
They have not proven their concept yet. They don't have enough money to really spend on this, and they just shouldn't do it because they're going to spend too much of their capital, their initial investment, on an agency, and they're not going to get enough value out because they need sales today.
Is that because people think that marketing is the logical next thing to do when you're launching your business?
Yeah, because if you don't have marketing and sales, you don't have anything.
Right.
So without sales and marketing, your business does not exist. So I get it, but at the start, a founder can sometimes be a little bit scared of the sales and marketing.
Right.
They may be very good at creating the product or providing the service, but they're scared of the sales and marketing. So they're like, I'll just hire that out to somebody. And I say, don't. Until you have more money coming in, you need a proof of concept, you need a system. Also, it's sort of unfair to the marketing agency you're hiring to come on in to a system that does not exist and create it from scratch and create every single message. You haven't proven it at all yet. And it's not fair to you because you're going to burn a lot of money having them try to figure it out. And it's not good for them because they're not going to be able to be successful right away.
Fair.
You know, maybe they can, but I've seen it not go great. And
It's a great unknown, and it's a lot of work, like you said, and especially if you're thinking of hiring an agency, you might not have all the resources to experiment as much as you need
you got to
to.
bootstrap it first.
You got to have more, you're saying more research and information or more proven test methods on
That's
your
right.
product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ideally, you're having an agency come in to accelerate what you're already doing. So you already have something that's going well, and then you come and the agency blows it up for you.
That is a great line right there. If you're thinking about it, it must accelerate what you're doing. It's not going to launch what you've already got.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very-
it can, but I've seen it go poorly where they think an agency is magical and will just solve every single problem.
Makes
you have.
it lower chance of success right off the bat.
Yes.
Very fair.
So-
What else?
So the second thing is, how are you going to be billed? So is this an hourly arrangement? I find a lot of times people will give an estimate in a proposal from an agency,
Right.
and they're not really clear of how many hours they're getting, and all of a sudden they get a giant bill after a couple months because it's like, oh, you asked for all these things and that went over the scope and we're doing all these things, and so there's not a great amount of communication there. So I think you want to be really clear what's happening. I know at MASH we try to do an actual quote, not an estimate. So it's
Yes.
like it's a quote.
We say that in our proposals.
That's right. It costs this much money, and that's what it is. And if it's going way outside of that, we'll let you know. But generally speaking, we try to keep it in that box.
Yes.
So it's just simple. Everyone knows what it is at the end of the day. You can budget. Now, we do hourly work because sometimes it makes sense to do it that way.
Have to or need to. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think that's a really important consideration because you can often get in a lot of arguments and fights, and it's not fun.
And on the customer side, having clear billing parameters, especially from my end in the different industries I've worked in, it adds trust to the agency you're working with. Because if it's too vague, you're scared or paranoid or micromanaging the agency to do what they do best.
Right.
I'm like, Derek, I don't want to get charged more. But if you have a very clear agreement, I know Derek's taking care of me and we'll talk if it's ever out of scope.
That's right.
That's excellent. Okay.
So yeah, third thing is how often would I actually hear from you? So there's a couple different ways agencies work. We like to work in a partnership situation where we're with you every step of the way. We actually really try to act like your staff. We try to act like a team member for you, come alongside your crew and help build your marketing arm and your sales arm and all the things that you need. Oftentimes agencies will, create a great campaign for you, launch it, and then send a report once a month.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
No.
Not helpful. So we kind of have something called the AAA MASH way that we do where we advise, we act, and we adjust.
Yes.
So we like to meet on a weekly basis to make sure that we're hitting the goals that need to be done in order for the result to actually happen. And then based on the feedback that we're getting, especially in digital marketing where you're getting kind of instant feedback, we want to adjust on the fly right
Yes.
away. We don't want to wait for a month. We want to adjust right away.
To take advantage for the best results.
That's right. Yeah, and then we want to also advise you as the client of what do you need to do on the back end. And if you're getting a bunch of leads, that's great. But are you actually following up with them? Do you have a good sales process? How's your proposals looking? And we'll ask some of those questions. And so it's an opportunity on a weekly basis, how we like to do it, of making sure you're accountable for your side, we're accountable for our side, have strong communication, and make sure we're solving any problems and moving forward.
Right, and you're not saying that any particular communication method is better than others, but make sure that you're on board with it when you're talking to your agency. Because if you want more frequent and they're like, no, we don't really do that, that might already be a good gatekeeping indicator that they're not a right fit for you.
That's right.
So keep that in mind. Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Number 4.
So number 4, how are you going to ensure that we're reaching our goals?
Again, very good question.
Yeah, so part of this is the weekly meeting because you should be talking about this all the time. But I definitely want to have overall goals that in a quarter, this is what we're trying to do.
Yes.
And I want to be very clear about that at the start. And then even after that quarter, I want to talk about them again. I want to set a new batch of goals. And we do this for our business. We call them rocks, based on the book Traction and the EOS system. And
Thanks,
whatnot.
Gino.
Yeah, thanks. So I like to do that with clients too, where you're setting quarterly goals and you're making sure they're being reached.
Okay.
And the metrics have to align with the goals. So if you don't have goals, your metrics can say anything.
Yes.
And people are just making up stuff. So I think you want to be really clear on the goals, and the metrics have to support if we're going in that direction or not.
Yes.
The other thing that I think is important is the agency can produce metrics and results, but the client also needs to produce a report as well on their end.
Yes.
Because they can see things that we're just not seeing a lot of the time.
Yes.
So we like to talk to their customer service reps and say, hey, where did this lead come from? What sort of feedback are you getting from them? What's the close rate on some of these people? There's so many different things that we need to know. And sometimes, the companies are reluctant to share that information with us. And I get it, it's sensitive company information, but we need it.
Yes.
Because then you can adjust the marketing that we've had lots of times where it looks like the Google ads are doing really well. They're producing a lot of leads.
We see that side of it.
Yeah, but there's no, the conversion rate at the back end is really low.
It's not the right customers, but
Yeah.
we're getting a lot of them, etc.
Exactly. So you need to really have a strong relationship there, and you got to bring your agency in. And if the agency's not willing to do that, or you're not willing to do that, to me, that's a problem.
Right. So to clarify again, now on your end, as you assess a marketing agency, you can't set it and forget it. Oh, great, they're doing all
Yes.
these. You have to do your homework as well to get the best results.
That's right.
Fantastic. What's number
So,
5?
Number 5 is, I think you should ask whoever's trying to sell this, the marketing services to you, to tell you the psychology behind an online conversion.
The psychology
Yes.
behind the conversion.
And if they can't give you a decent answer on that, I think they don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
So-
Can you give us an example?
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Okay. So at Match, we talk about how for someone to convert on your website, on your ad, it's a big step for them. They have to fill out their name, their phone number, their email, and you're giving them permission to contact you and do all sorts of things. That's a
Right.
big step.
Yes.
So there's a number of boxes that have to be checked in their psyche in order to do that. It's not just I can put up a website and it says a couple things and people just automatically convert on it. No, there's a huge amount of psychology that goes into it. So the first thing is, does this company actually solve my problem?
Right.
So,
Okay.
so they have to identify with me that I have a problem and the company can actually solve it. So they seem positioned to solve it. The second part of that is, are they uniquely positioned to solve my problem?
Are they really good at solving the problem?
Are they actually any good at it? So those are your unique selling propositions that you want on your ad or your website.
Fair.
The biggest part that I think people fall down on is they don't have any social proof.
Social proof meaning to the general public?
Yes, someone else says I'm good, not just me. So I can say I'm great all the time, but that's just me talking. Of course.
A review, a testimonial.
Yeah, of course, I'm going to say I'm awesome, but a lot of other people, if they're saying it too, it's like, oh, okay.
Okay. They didn't experience pain when they worked with Derek. That means I will experience good things when I work with Derek.
Exactly.
True.
So you need the social proof, and then you need a really clear call to action.
Okay.
So sometimes websites have like 5 different calls to action. No one knows what to do until they just don't convert.
Right.
It needs to be clear, and it's just no hesitation. I go through this system, check the boxes in my brain, and then I take the call to action because I know what I need to do.
Click, form, whatever, but make it simple, easy, and clear what they're
Yes.
doing.
And so it doesn't have to be that answer. There's other ways to answer that question, but they need to have a good answer there. Otherwise, I think maybe they're good at doing web and they know how to run Facebook ads, but do they know the psychology of how people work and how to actually have people take action on your ad?
So look out for blowing smoke agencies when they talk about the conversion.
That's right.
Interesting. Fantastic,
So
Derek.
those are kind of the 5 things. There's probably more than that, but I think that's a good start. And at the end of the day, you really want an agency that'll partner with you.
Yes.
That won't just do something for you and then abandon you and charge you a bunch of money. I also think it's important to figure out the size of agency that you want.
Yes.
So if you're a small company, I would not hire a 60-person agency because they're going to charge you.
Coca-Cola uses these guys. Maybe not for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you have to kind of think about the size of agency and the size of business you are.
Yes.
And kind of align that. I think that's good. Like if you're just starting out, maybe you just want to hire, the guy in his basement. That's actually probably a good fit.
Yep.
But once you start to become a medium-sized company, it's like, I actually need some ongoing support here. And you can't be afraid to invest in it either.
No. That's probably a really good thought on this anyways.
Yes, and what I find is there's actually a lot of medium-sized companies that have no marketing or communication support. They desperately need it, but they're scared to invest in it.
Correct.
And if they actually did invest in it, they would take their company to a whole new level and increase their revenues and profits significantly. But it's a big step for them. So I would say they should hire a small to medium-sized agency when they're about that size, someone that can really partner with them, that can care for them. If you hire someone too big, they won't give you enough time.
Right.
You're just not big and important enough for them, unfortunately.
Yes.
And it's even for us now, like with the very, like we're a medium-sized agency now. So if we're dealing with someone that's just starting at the start, I usually say, go talk to my friend here that's a single, he's just doing it on his own. He'll be a better fit for you right now.
Yes.
He can give you a lot of time, a lot of effort.
Yes.
He's not going to do it at the level that we could probably do it at.
But he'll get you started and
get
it's
you
a
going.
good fit.
Yeah, and then when you get bigger, then you hire somebody like us
Awesome.
to get going.
Those are fantastic 5 questions. And again, obviously, if there are any questions you guys have, let us know. That's why we're doing these, is to make sure that if you don't even know where to start, we're giving you some information. So contact us, reach out. By all means, you can see right here that we have experts on hand. I'll even do my best to answer some questions for you. But thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Russ.